Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Mortgage Message Show. My name is Joe LaGiglia, and on today's episode, we are highlighting Jody Sholeen from Keller Williams Infinity here in Plainfield, Illinois, for our Spotlight series of Who is Buying This Spring. Jody Sholeen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
Absolutely. So we're so excited to have you on. We're just coming off an incredible year of real estate in the year of 2020. So many things were overcome to be able to make sure clients were buying and selling, and we wanted to create this series to create a educational center for all the people that, for whatever reason, good, bad, or indifferent, weren't able to make that move in 2020. And 2021, that's upon us already, they are thinking about moving. And one of the subject matters that we wanted to get into was the move up buyer. But before we get into that definition and what that means, I wanted to give my audience an opportunity, Jody, to kind of hear from you, your story as far as how you got into real estate, what the last few years have been like, and everything in between. So if you can, please indulge us.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Well, I've been licensed for 6 years, and my story is a little bit different. I was actually approached by a former colleague and really good friend. We were in the lending industry together, so I used to be a loan officer like you, and he approached me. His wife is a real estate agent, and he just thought that I would really like and be a good realtor. At first, I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't really interested, but I dove in. I got licensed. I worked with them for 3 years, and then I branched off on my own, and we formed the Sholeen Group. We founded the Sholeen Group, and now we have been the Sholeen Group for 3 years. We just had our 3-year anniversary in November.
So exciting.
And we have had so much growth. I mean, the growth has been unbelievable. I'm really, really proud of us.
Yeah, and shout out to the other part of the Sholeen Group. The name wouldn't be possible without them. Shout out to our dear friend Dave Sholeen, your husband and business partner of the Sholeen Group. To your point, hearing your story again, and obviously I've known it, would really want the audience to know it as well. We've been able to share so much of that time as partners within the lending real estate world, and it's really served our community well. Very like-minded as far as how we approach our clients, and the type of client that we saw a lot of last year, with interest rates being so low, and interest rates we believe to continue to stay low throughout the year of 2021. We saw what's called a move-up buyer and enter the market. And if you can, Jody, just from an education standpoint, if you can, help us define what exactly is a move-up buyer.
Well, it's my favorite type of client, I'll be honest with you. So a move-up buyer is someone who has purchased a home before. They're in the stage of life where they either they've outgrown the home, so they need a bigger house, or they're in a stage where they just want, an upgraded house or a different house, different location. So basically, in a nutshell, a move-up buyer is someone that has to sell a home to purchase their next home for whatever reason.
So that's perfectly said. And when you talk about it's your favorite type of buyer, give me a little bit of background on that. What do you enjoy most about working with a move-up buyer?
Well, it requires a lot of planning, and it's something and a lot of problem solving. It requires a lot of working through things because it's 2 transactions in one. You're selling a house and you're buying a house, so it's 2 separate transactions, and I treat them that way. Part of the reason why I love them so much is because my family moved up in 2019. We sold our first home. Well, it was actually our second home. We had a condo, and then we sold that, and then we bought a house, and then we moved from that house and built our dream home. So, having gone through that process personally helps me help the families I work with go through the process. So I think that's another reason why I love it so much. Like you said, we've had a lot of clients who have needed that this past year, and my experience has really helped them get through the process, with as little stress as I possibly can.
So Jody, by servicing the clients the right way and staying connected to them, is it fair to say that most first-time home buyers eventually become move-up buyers?
Absolutely. In fact, in December of last year, one of my very first buyers sold their first home, and they bought their step-up home. So it really comes full circle.
And I think that's the coolest part about working with move-up buyers is, they have a little bit of an education on the process from the last time that they did it.
Yep.
Lord knows our industry changes so much. So there's always new things that they're learning on the next transaction. But to your point, there's so many moving parts between having to sell and to buy. And I think, so much of the market this year is going to be focused on making sure that the move up buyer is ready on both of these transactions, both to be able to sell and to be able to buy. When we look at the forecast of this 2021 spring market, help me answer the question to the audience member who's watching. Is this the right time to become a move up buyer?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always a right time, but there's definitely advantages here in 2021 because interest rates are still historically low. So it gives that buyer, they can buy more house. And there's always first-time home buyers. So typically the house they're selling is going to meet the needs of a first-time home buyer, which it just becomes the perfect, match.
So Jody, I'm so glad that you brought up the observation that typically the move up buyer has a home to sell that will fill the need for the first-time home buyers who are entering the market. And what we know is that first-time home buyer market has never been more in demand or on fire as it is right now. So it's so exciting for move up buyers to know that there's going to be typically a demand for the property that they're trying to sell, which is exciting for them moving into this next transaction. But Jody, if you can, talk to me a little bit about, besides that factoid, what's something else unique to the move up buyer that they should know if they're thinking about becoming a move up buyer in 2021?
So one of the things that I explain to them is that, we're going to put a plan in place. It requires a lot of strategic planning and a lot of, it can be quite stressful. It can. And to your last point, selling the house right now, especially being a seller's market, I think it's going to continue to be a seller's market, is not the issue. It's finding their next house that might be the issue because we have an inventory issue. So I need my clients to understand that. So we have to be strategic about finding their next house. So, and depending on their financial situation, we have to plan it accordingly.
Yeah. And to your point, that planning, talk about how when you sit down with a move up buyer, talk about how your planning is unique.
So my plan is I make sure that my clients understand that we have to focus on the listing first. We've got to get the house. Things could happen really fast. And we have to get the house ready to sell. And it's so important to me. I don't just throw up listings. I make sure that they are ready to go. I educate my sellers on getting the house ready, how to showcase it as a model home instead of a home that you live in. Because when you're selling your house, it's important to understand that you want a buyer to be able to walk in and see themselves living there. So it's important to take the right steps to get your house show ready. So if I take them out and I start shopping for their new house and their house isn't ready to list, I'm not setting them up for success. So we have to focus on the listing first. So I get them, I give them a to-do list. We talk about what that looks like. We put a plan in place. We actually put dates in place. We take professional photos. We get ready to market the house. And then from that point, once we have that plan in place, then we're going to talk about how we're going to get their next home and what that looks like.
So Jody, 2021 is upon us. The spring market is upon us. We just came across so many lessons learned in this new frontier, we'll call it, in the year of 2020 and the record-breaking year that we've just accomplished. Moving into this year, what are you most excited about in your real estate business to be able to bring to your clients?
Well, this year, it was a lot of learning, and we grew so much and gained so much valuable experience. As you know, we hired another team member, and we have a director of communications now. Her name is Emmy. So having that help and having the experience of having such a great, successful, busy year, I'm excited to see what kind of service we can provide to our clients at a higher level in 2021. I'm excited. We've got systems in place. Our goals are in place. We are focused on making sure that we provide the best possible service, take the stress away from buying and selling real estate. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about helping families and making their dreams come true.
I love it. I love it. I'm excited to be on that journey with you. It's going to be so much fun.
We will.
Just really looking forward to creating, so many more next chapters for clients, especially the move up buyers, which we totally love working with. And Jody, if there's move up buyers that are watching this, if there's any buyers, any sellers who are watching this, and they want to connect with you, just to talk more about maybe something they heard today, or just to connect more on real estate, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, the best way is probably to text or call me at 773-401-3441 or email me at jody.thesholeengroup@gmail.com.
So excited.
Anytime.
So excited. Go check out Jody. Go check her out on the socials. Definitely reach out to her for any questions you might have. Jody, cannot thank you enough for your partnership. Can't thank you enough for your time on this interview. And so excited to be able to create just a ton more experiences for clients this year with you. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to another episode of the Mortgage Message Show during this series, Who's Buying in Spring of 2021. We're so excited to be able to bring more relevant content to you. We hope that you share and like this interview. And we'd love to hear from you directly. If there's any questions, please drop them in the comments. My name is Joe LaGiglia with the Mortgage Message Show. We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everybody.